displacement of load is dl. So here also a force and displacement will be there, so work is done here. So you can say that here is all, this will be the work done by the machine on the load. This side work done by us on the machine, that side work done by the machine on the load. So here work output is called work done by the machine. Is that clear? Now what is the work done? So work done, what will be the work done, tell me. So work done by us, work input by us. Work input means work done by us. Is that clear? So work input, it means this will, what is the formula of work? The formula of work is force into displacement. So what is the force here? The force is, it is visible properly everybody, everywhere?
Yes, sir.
So this is the force. What is the force? Force is effort. So you can write here effort into S. At S means displacement. What is the displacement? So displacement is dE. So displacement of effort you can write here. Again that side work is equal to force into displacement. Okay. So work output, this will be the work output. What is the force? Force is the load. And what is the displacement? So displacement will be the displacement of load. Now efficiency, efficiency represented by this sign, and this sign is called eta. And the efficiency is the ratio of work output to the work input. It means efficiency you can write here work output to the work input. Now tell me, what will be the value of work output? This will be the work output. This will be the value of work output. We can put here, and this will be the value of work input. We can put there. So if efficiency eta is equal to, can we write here work output L into dl by E into dE. Can we write this one? Can we write this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now load by effort. Here, come to here. Mechanical advantage is equal to load by effort. So can we put in place of load by effort mechanical advantage? Can we write? So here we have load by effort. So in place of load by effort, we can write here mechanical advantage into dl by de. Clear? So this will be the efficiency. Now velocity ratio, from here we got velocity ratio is equal to dE by dl. If you will take the reciprocal of this, reciprocal means ulta, it means numerator become denominator, denominator become numerator. It means you have to interchange. So you can write here dl by de. So if you will take the reciprocal of this, then you have to take the reciprocal of that. So velocity ratio become 1 by vr. Did you get that? How it comes? How is this step
Yes, sir.
come? Okay. Only we have taken the reciprocal of this. Why? Because here dl by de is there. So we have to find out the value of dl by de. So dl by de is equal to 1 by vr. Can we put there? So the value of efficiency is equal to mechanical advantage into 1 by vr. We can put here 1 by vr. So efficiency is equal to mechanical advantage by vr. Again, you can write here mechanical advantage is equal to efficiency into vr. It means velocity ratio. So this is the relation between mechanical advantage, efficiency, and velocity ratio. Okay, this is the relation between mechanical advantage, efficiency, and ratio. Is there any problem in this? Is there any problem?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Now let's talk about little bit efficiency, eta. So efficiency of machine is not represented just like that work output by work input. Okay, always efficiency represented in the form of percentage. Okay, so that is why we have to multiply it by 100%. Is that clear? Now come to the principle of machine. So principle of machine, according to the principle of machine, here very good point is written: output energy is equal to input energy. In short term you can write here and you can remember that output energy is equal to input energy. It means the energy given by a person to the machine, okay, will be used 100% and give the efficient energy or efficient output by the machine will be equal to each other. Then this is the principle at which a machine works. Is that clear? This is the principle at which a machine works. Right now, there are two types of machine. Number one, ideal machine. Okay. And number two, actual machine. Actual machine. Okay. So what is ideal and what is actual? Ideal machine are those machine who works properly. Okay. Who works properly and who follow the principle of machine. It means the energy given by us and give the output that amount. Okay, then this is the ideal machine. It means we will give 100%, machine will also give 100%. Then it is called ideal machine. But it is not possible. Okay, but it is not possible. Lots of parts of machine, heavy in weight, and all the parts are not smooth as much as friction is very less. So that is why friction is also works there, and the weight of the, due to the weight of the machine's part, some amount of energy waste in the form of that. Okay, due to the friction some amount of energy will be used in the form of heat energy, will be not used, will be waste in the form of waste heat energy. It means if you will give 100% of energy, if you will be 100% of energy to the machine, then 80% of energy will be used by the machine, but 20% of energy waste in the form of heat energy due to the weight of the machine, due to the what is due to the roughness of the part, due to the friction. So this is the actual machine. All the machine works in this. Okay, because all the machines in the world are not very smooth, not weightless, that we give 100% and we take 100%. It is not possible. Okay, so this is only a hypothesis. Actual machine works and you can see it in your daily life. Is that clear to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we will study about lever today. Okay, very easy and a very short, very small topic. That is why let's complete this one by today. Okay, till here is there any problem?
No, sir.
Okay, so let's study. Last day I told you and I draw a structure of lever. So I told you fulcrum, load and effort, these are the main part of a lever. Okay, the main part of a lever. Okay, so there are three types of lever: class 1, class 2 and class 3. Lever of class 1, lever of class 2, levers of class 3. Okay, so I will give a very important shortcut method to learn about where is the part situated, where is the fulcrum, where is the load, where is the effort. So if you will learn just like that, 1 2 3 F, sorry, FLE. This will be the key to learn about this. So why I have written, if you will take the class 1 types of lever, if I will draw the class 1 types of lever, so F is there na written, it means F is in the middle. In class 2, load is in the middle. In class 3, effort is in the middle. So in class 1, F is, it means fulcrum is in the middle. So this will be the fulcrum. So either load that side, effort that side, or effort that side, load that side, you can write. Again, class 2 types of lever. What is in the middle? Load is in the middle. It means load will be there, and maybe fulcrum is there and effort is there. Yeah, fulcrum is there, effort will be there. Okay. Only remember the thing which is present in the middle. This will be the fulcrum. Now class 3 types of lever. Effort is in the middle. So you can write here effort, and this will be the fulcrum and this will be the load. Okay. So this is the structure, general structure of lever. Okay. And now from here to here, this is the load. So this will be the load arm. Load arm. And that side effort. So from the distance between effort and fulcrum will be the effort arm. Is that clear? Load arm and effort arm. Here, from here to here, this will be the load arm. But from here to here is called effort arm. It means always you will measure the arm length from fulcrum. Okay. Again, from here to here, it is effort arm. From here to here, it will be the load arm. Okay. So this is all about lever of class 1, lever of class 2, lever of class 3. Now, example of class 1 lever. Okay. Example of class 1 lever. Tell me. Example of class lever, class 1 lever. Anybody?
The seesaw.
Yes, very good. Seesaw. Very good example. Class 2. Class 2, tell me.
Nutcracker.
Crack. Crack.
Yes, very good. Nutcracker. Class 2 nutcracker. So, wait 1 minute. Here lots of example is given. If I will explain one, then you can understand. So this will be the class 1 types of example. Seesaw. Here the axis of rotation is present. Just like that. That is why it is a fulcrum. This will be the load, then this will be the effort. Is that clear? If you will take the pliers, okay. So here with the hand, with the help of hand, you will apply an effort just like that. And this will be the axis of rotation where these hands will rotate. So this will be the fulcrum. And this will be the load. The wire will be the load. Is that clear? So fulcrum is in the middle. So that is why this is the class 1 lever. Now here, rowing a boat with a long handle of oar. So here this will be the fulcrum, and this will be the load, and this will be the effort. This will also class 1 types of lever. Now come to the class 2 types of lever. Bottle opener. So bottle opener, just like where is the rotation takes place. This is the rotation of takes place. So this will be the fulcrum, and this is the load. Just after fulcrum, this is the load, and this is the effort. So load is in the middle. Load is present in the middle. So this will be the class 2 types of lever. Again, wheelbarrow. Wheelbarrow, this is the fulcrum. Just like that, it will rotate here. We are applying an effort by holding this, and this will be the load is present in the middle. So this will be the class 2 types of lever. Now class 3 types of lever. Here, sugar tongs. We are applying an effort. Load is there, and fulcrum. Fulcrum is present here because these two handle rotate in this axis. So this is fulcrum. Effort is in the middle. So that's it. That is why it is class 3 types of lever. Okay. And mechanical advantage. Okay. and load effort. We will discuss rest of the things in our next class. Okay, because these are the technical term and same as, but we will discuss it. Don't forget it about this. Okay, so some students have question
Yes, sir.
in yesterday's class. So tell me, what is the doubt? What is